I need you to pay close attention right now, because what I'm about to show you is not a theory. It's a pattern, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. A man stands in front of a camera. He's been speaking out for years, calling out the industry, telling you what goes on behind the closed doors of Hollywood. And then he disappears. And when he comes back, the eyes are different, the mannerisms are different, the voice is different, and everything he used to stand for, reversed, like it was never there. And it's not just Jim Carrey. We've watched this happen to Kanye West, to Jamie Foxx, and now, people are starting to ask whether Diddy's clone is the one sitting in that jail cell while the real man is somewhere completely different.
Yeah, if they're telling you that there's no clone, the guy telling you is probably a clone.
But here's where this story gets bigger than Hollywood gossip. Because on the other side of this, there's a woman named Kris Jenner. And there's a system, a real documented system, that powerful people use to open doors. And the question people are asking right now is whether those doors lead to the same place. The FBI said there were tens of thousands of videos, Epstein files, victims, evidence.
Yeah, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein and there are hundreds of victims, and no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement.
They said one thing, then they took it back. Tonight, we're connecting the dots that nobody in a position of power wants connected. The clone machine, the blackmail system, the empire built on access, and the files that were supposed to change everything and then quietly disappeared. This is Hollywood's control machine. Let's start with what happened in Paris, because this is the event that broke the internet, and for good reason. In early 2026, Jim Carrey showed up at the César Awards, the French Oscars, and immediately something was wrong. This was the first time Jim Carrey had been seen publicly since November of the previous year. Months of silence. And when he walked back into the spotlight, longtime fans did not recognize him. Now, people immediately reached for the most logical explanation. Plastic surgery. He's 64 years old. Happens. Actors do it all the time. But here's the problem with that explanation. Plastic surgery does not change the color of your eyes. Jim Carrey's eyes were brown. The man who appeared at the César Awards had green eyes. That's not a surgical procedure. That's a different person.
It's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But, it's, then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards. And I was like, I'm dead.
Now compare that to the Jim Carrey the world knew for decades. The man who stood on a red carpet, an award show red carpet, and told a reporter to her face that the entire ceremony was meaningless.
There's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join. And here I am. Celebrating icons. Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with.
And now, this same person is at the César Awards, beaming, practicing his speech in French, enthusiastic about the industry he publicly despised. These are not the same people, and millions of fans noticed it at exactly the same moment. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what Jim Carrey was actually saying before he disappeared. Because he wasn't just a comedian who got philosophical. He was a man who sat in front of cameras for years and told you exactly how this industry works.
I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower.
So yesterday, 64-year-old Jim Carrey received a César Award in Paris, which is like a French Oscar.
He named it directly on a major talk show with cameras rolling. He wasn't whispering it in a back room. He was saying it out loud in public to an audience of millions.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
After Diddy's arrest, Jim went further. He started talking specifically about humiliation rituals, couch culture, the cult-like behavior that was reportedly still embedded inside the highest levels of Hollywood. And then he was gone. For months, no public appearances, no interviews, nothing. And when he came back, the person who appeared at the César Awards could not stop talking about how how much he loved the same industry he had spent years exposing. The fans who had followed Jim Carrey for decades said the same thing almost immediately. This is not him. Here's the thing about Jim Carrey's situation. It is not unique. It is a pattern. And the most documented version of that pattern, the one that people went back and studied in real time, is what happened to Kanye West. Because Kanye did something almost nobody does. He told you in advance what to look for.
If I go away and I come back and I look different, that is not me.
If I ever went anywhere, we'd know why.
He said that publicly, before it happened, before his disappearance. Kanye was talking about things that made very powerful people very uncomfortable. He was naming his trainer as a former intelligence operative. He was talking about being wrongly medicated. He was describing a system designed to silence people who got too loud.
Found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
He worked in the defense research and development in the Canadian military, essentially working on psyops
Who is
in
this
the
guy?
Canadian military. This is Harley Pasternak.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, look, they tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me, and they when I asked them how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly, it took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount.
I would rather be dead, not in jail, because I'd rather be dead than to be on medication.
And then Kanye went quiet, came back, and the first thing the world saw was a man who was now allegedly back on his meds, apologizing to the very people he had exposed, doing and saying things that the old Kanye swore he would never do.
The phony will clone me. Just watch how they cloned me. Hey, look at me, saw me.
Now let's talk about two more names, because the timing here is not something you can write off as coincidence. Jamie Foxx. In the spring of 2023, Jamie Foxx had a sudden health emergency. He disappeared from public life for months. No explanation, no details. His family said he was recovering from what they never fully said. And when he came back, people noticed things. A face full of freckles that the real Jamie Foxx never had. A missing tattoo on the back of his head. Details that don't come from a health emergency. Details that come from a substitution.
This clone kept on messing up. The clone showed up with a face full of freckles. We ain't never even seen Jamie Foxx with freckles. This clone is stupid as hell. The clone didn't even have a tattoo on the back of his head.
Now here's where the timeline becomes impossible to ignore. Jamie Foxx had his health emergency and disappeared on the exact same day that Diddy was arrested.
This is a real photo of Diddy. Notice the markings on his face? They're very prominent, and they are from the real Diddy. However, in this mugshot right here, you do not see these markings at all, so people are claiming that whoever is in jail, allegedly, supposedly, is not the real Diddy. Diddy's private jet is still flying around as we speak and making stops in various locations around the world. Just a few days ago, his private jet was spotted at Auckland Airport, a spot normally reserved for private aircraft. This is from the account Celebrity Jets. They're actually tracking P. Diddy's private jet flight path. And this is when it was landing at New Zealand. And 2 days ago, it was at Honolulu, Hawaii.
On the day of Diddy's arrest, his private plane was being flown toward the Caribbean. That was the last time the real Diddy was seen in public. Now we pivot, because everything we've talked about so far, the control, the disappearances, the silencing, connects to a larger system. A documented system, one that a federal court has already confirmed was real. The Epstein network. And the clearest window into how that system actually worked, and why it's still being covered up, comes from someone you might not expect. Joe Rogan. Rogan's name appears in the Epstein files, but not for the reason people assumed. Back in 2017, a physicist named Lawrence Krauss tried to arrange a meeting between Rogan and Epstein. Rogan's response was immediate.
Yeah, I'm in the files for not going, because Jeffrey Epstein was trying to meet with me.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad?
Yeah, but I would have never went anyway. It's like, it's not even a possibility that I would ever went.
But
especially after I Googled them. I was like, what the f*** are you talking about? This was like 2017.
Now contrast that with the people who kept going back. Bill Gates continued meeting with Epstein after the 2008 conviction. Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, appears over 2,600 times in the Epstein files. Now here's where this story takes a turn that most people are not prepared for. Everything we've talked about, the control system, the access economy, the powerful people with things to hide, brings us to a real document, sitting on the Department of Justice website right now, that you can go read yourself. It's a victim complaint filed in the Maxwell case, and it names the Kardashian sisters. Before we go further, this is a victim complaint. It has not been proven in court. The people named have not been charged, but this document is real. You can verify it yourself on the DOJ website. The complaint connects Maxwell, convicted of running a sex trafficking operation, currently serving 20 years, to the Kardashian family. It references surrogacy, DNA, identity, and a specific cosmetic transaction tied to Kylie Jenner and a $600 million deal. Which brings us to Kris Jenner. People have been calling her a momager for years, a marketing genius, the architect of one of the most successful celebrity empires in history. But people are now asking a different question about the strategy. And people are asking, does that pattern look different from what Epstein's network was literally convicted of doing? Giving young women access to powerful men in exchange for influence, wealth, and status. The dots people keep connecting include the family's rapid rise during the exact period of Epstein's 2008 plea deal, their lawyer Alex Spiro, whose name appears in the Epstein files, and the overlapping circles that keep placing names like Diddy and the Kardashians in the same rooms. Ray J filed a countersuit calling Kim's lawsuit a public relations move. The FBI investigation has not closed. It's just gone quiet. And as Rogan said, when powerful people go quiet, it's not because there's nothing there. It's because there's too much. And then there's Paris Hilton. When the latest Epstein files dropped, Paris Hilton's name showed up in those documents. And that was the moment Paris went into survival mode. There's a documentary called Surviving Jeffrey Epstein. In it, there's an account of Maxwell specifically recruiting Paris. The account says Maxwell saw Paris at a party and said, "She'd be perfect for Jeffrey. Can you introduce us?" Paris has denied knowing Maxwell, even though there are photographs of them together at parties. Kim Kardashian started out as Paris Hilton's stylist and personal assistant. She was in the background of every photograph. She followed Paris everywhere. Insiders now say Paris is talking to investigators, laying out everything she's been holding back for years. Let me tell you what all of this looks like when you zoom all the way out. There is a system, has been running for a very long time, uses access as currency. It gives powerful people things they shouldn't have, and then it owns them forever. It silences people who get too loud, through medication, through cloning rumors, through the slow and deliberate destruction of credibility. Jim Carrey spent years telling you this industry has a control problem. Then he disappeared. Then a person with different eyes showed up at a French award ceremony and couldn't say enough good things about that same industry. Kanye told you exactly what to watch for, and then it happened to him, word for word, exactly as he described. Jamie Foxx went dark the day Diddy was arrested, came back after Diddy was sentenced, and a comedian who pays attention noticed that the person who came back had the wrong freckles and a missing tattoo. Diddy's private jet is flying internationally, while the government tells us he's in federal detention. The FBI said tens of thousands of videos. Then they said never mind. A victim walked into the Department of Justice and filed a complaint naming the Kardashian sisters in connection with Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman a federal court confirmed was running a trafficking operation. And Paris Hilton is now reportedly talking to investigators about everything she's been holding back for years. The files are out. Not all of them, not the ones that matter most, but enough to see the shape of what's underneath. And the people who knew their names were in those files didn't wait around to find out what would happen when they became public. They moved. Lawyers, lawsuit, distance, silence. That is not the behavior of people with nothing to hide. If you think the public deserves the full story, share this, because this story is not finished. Not even close. The question nobody wants to answer is simple. How many more people have to disappear or come back looking different before someone in a position of actual power decides to look? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this gave you something new to think about, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We are not done here.